Tonight on News 5 Live, victims of sexual abuse continues to come forward with allegations against Mervyn Boodram. The church where he ministered issued a release, but the National Evangelical Association of Belize remains quiet. A Belize City man is shot and killed at his home on Friday night. 4 suspects are being sought. Bottom Dala joins Augusta Kwan in shuttering its business. And ADO resumes bus runs from Mexico to Belize City. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the short code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win. Local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Come on!
When hungry or craving, when laughter or tears, enjoy the best snacking, your flavors are here. Asadas, mocadas, chiladas, doradas, delicious for snacking, done right and done here.
Done right, done here. Get ready, babe. We're going on a vacation.
Finally, where are we going?
Don't worry, babe. I have we covered.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Yes, babe. Oh, right there, see? Babe, the price was too good to be true. Me look much more better in that picture.
When life throws you a curveball, Belize Bank has your back. With our online financing, you can turn any vacation mishap into a dream getaway.
Cheers to Belize Bank for making our dream vacation a reality.
Thanks to you, babe, to turn things around.
No thanks to you, cheapo.
Ouch.
Experience the future of financing with Belize Bank online, where you can secure funds for anything, from anywhere, at any time, all without stepping foot in a bank. Apply for a loan today and unlock a world of possibilities.
How does investment services work? For example, Joe's Construction wants to expand its operations by purchasing new equipment and hiring additional staff. How can Joe's Construction get an investment loan? The answer: Investment Services appraises the loan application and focuses on two key areas: adequate collateral and repayability. Investment Services will also consider how Belizeans and the economy will benefit from this new investment through job creation and business growth. The terms and conditions for Joe's Construction loan will be based on the purpose and cash flow. After recommendation and approval, the loan is disbursed. SSB remains committed to proper management of the fund through prudent and responsible investments for the benefit of its beneficiaries, employers, and the Belizean economy. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
The new school year is almost here, so it's time to end the summer with a bang. Come see kids from all over the country while they take center stage to show off their talent on Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2023. That's right, mark your calendars. Friday, August 18th at 6:30 a.m. at Channel 5 on Kona Drive. Come and start your morning right with kids singing and dancing. Also, come take advantage of great food, entertainment, and loads of back-to-school giveaways, including gifts for the first 100 kids who enter the fest. And the best thing of all, entrance is free. So, what are you waiting for? Set your alarm and pencil in that date because Summerfest 2023 is one event you don't want to miss.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Monday, August 7th. I am Sabrina Daly. Alleged victims of sexual abuse at the hands of well-known church leader Mervyn Boodram continues to speak out. Tonight we hear from another woman who has also decided to tell her story in support of other victims, known and unknown. The church where Boodram fellowshipped, Jubilee Ministries, has revealed that an investigation was launched after the pastor's daughter accused Boodram of sexually assaulting her. But why did the church not take the findings of that investigation to the Belize Police Department? Today we sought comment from the president of the National Evangelical Association of Belize, Pastor Victor Hernandez, who referred us to Pastor Scott Sturm. Pastor Hernandez also informed us that NIAB would issue a release before the news. We also sought comment on the matter from Pastor Louis Wade, who told us that he has been out of the country since July and will speak on the matter after he is fully briefed upon returning to Belize. News 5's Paul Lopez has the story.
So we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise to your brand.
He has been on the bill for countless Christian youth festivals and concerts across the country, released numerous music albums, and became a household name in 2009 for his carnival song Jump for Belize. Worship leader and motivational speaker Mervyn Boodram is now the subject of a police investigation surrounding numerous reports of sexual abuse. He is a beloved figure in the evangelical church. Outside of the church, Boodram hosted the Creative Monday discussion on the national channel. In 2018, he was selected by the U.S. Embassy to join the Young Leaders of America initiative. Boodram is also a thriving entrepreneur.
Many times we don't stop and think about the choices we make in our lives and the big ramifications of them. If someone had told me when I was 9, if I'd opened the door, that I would be trapped for almost 20 years, I would be wrestling for so long, trying to get free and staying free. If someone had told me from an early age that my teenage years would be robbed, that my 20s would be robbed, I would never have opened the door.
In an ironic video testimonial, Boodram spoke of his battle with sexual addiction in his teenage years and his 20s, and perhaps today it provides some insight into the mounting allegations of sexual assault being levied against him. Tonight, we bring you a second interview from a woman who had a similar encounter 20 years ago, also at the age of 16. She has decided to open up about the alleged incident involving Mervyn Boodram, to add to the voices of those women who have already shared their stories and to encourage others to speak out.
We had a very close relationship. It was somebody who I trusted. It was someone, it's kind of like older brother. And I cared about Mervyn very much. I looked up to Mervyn. And so on this particular day, he had come to visit at my house. I was living in Belmopan, and we were hanging out for later, and so my parents had said that he could stay the night instead of having to go back to Dangriga that night. He was sleeping in a room that was across the hallway from where my bedroom was. And I woke up with him next to my bed. And he had his hands between my legs, inside of my clothes, on my breasts. He was kissing me. He didn't know at first that I was awake because I was kind of like, I didn't know what to do. When I did, let him know I was awake and tell him he did stop.
Floto alleges that though he stopped, Boudram kept trying to convince her to come with him back to the room where he was sleeping. She says that she finally convinced him to leave the room after telling him that her parents would hear them and that they would both be in trouble. She says hours before that encounter, they had prayed together. She recalled sharing information about some of her personal struggles with him that evening. Floto says Boudram knew that she was in a very vulnerable place in her life.
Also feeling like I could not tell anyone because they would not believe me. And I think that to me at that time was a very real thing, like that I wouldn't be believed. I regret that very much now. I don't necessarily think that was true. I think there probably were church leaders, or people in that community that I could have spoken to, but I didn't feel like at that time that I could. When I saw what Rebecca had posted, I think immediately it was guilt, because then I didn't know even like details there, but I'm older. I knew her as she was, a child, and there was no way that I could know that he would do something like that to anyone else.
Boudram had been attending Jubilee Ministries in Roaring Creek Village since the time of Floto's alleged encounter with him 2 decades ago. The leaders at the church only recently dismissed him after the pastor's daughter, Rebecca Sturm Lennon, revealed that she was also allegedly abused by Boudram. On Sunday night, Jason Twist, an elder in the church, shared with his congregation that upon learning of Rebecca's encounter, they immediately launched an investigation. That investigation revealed that this was not an isolated incident.
We pledge our unconditional support, which included encouraging victims to take necessary action as they deem fit. Police reports have been filed, and it is our understanding that the reports are now with the DPP, right? As a ministry, we want to be, categorically clear that we do not condone or tolerate any form of abuse.
Many are now asking if the church launched its own investigation and found out that there were others with similar stories, why they didn't immediately report the matter to the Belize Police Department. We reached out to Pastor Scott Sturm for comments, and he informed us that he is out of the country.
I didn't speak out because I wanted to punish or see. I know he has a family now. I don't want to see this horrible thing do more damage, to his family. I don't want to see that. For me, I do believe there needs to be accountability. I would like to see him come forward. I would like to see him admit to that and take responsibility for that, and for the women who are, if there is a legal charges that are pressed, then yes, I think that needs to be handled to the full extent of the law.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
A murder was reported over the weekend in the south side of Belize City. It's the first for the month of August. It occurred just before midnight on Friday at a home on Rio Grande Crescent, just off Fabers Road Extension. Evian Murillo was found dead on his veranda moments after shots rang out in the area. Who would want the 26-year-old dead, and why is unknown at this time. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
He had just returned home after socializing with a group of friends. An unsuspecting Evian Maria was on his veranda when a gunman opened fire on him. The 26-year-old was hit multiple times and died on the spot. His mother came out of the house to find her son dead. Police arrived shortly after.
Police responded to Rio Grande Crescent, where information was received there was a shooting incident. Upon their arrival, they found the lifeless body of Evian Murillo, 26 years of age, with gunshot injuries. Information is that he was at the veranda of his house when he was approached by a lone gunman who fired a single shot towards him, causing his fatal injury.
Was Murillo killed by the persons he socialized with earlier that night? That's one of the leads that ACP Gilberto Romero says they are pursuing, and so investigators are now looking for 4 suspects.
We are seeking 4 persons in regards to this investigation.
Any motive?
We do not have a clear motive. We are following on 2 leads that we have, and we are looking for 4 persons.
The 4 persons knew the victim?
Yes, they knew each other, yes.
And are they known to the law?
Yes, they are known.
Your understanding is that these individuals may have been socializing with each other prior to this deadly shooting?
Yeah, that is the information we received, so we are looking for these persons.
A search of our archives showed that in April 2020, Murillo, then 23, was arrested and charged for the murder of Walter Usher on February 23rd of that year. He was also charged with attempted murder, dangerous harm, and use of deadly means of harm upon Joyce Edwards. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
A resident of Ladyville was injured inside her home when a bullet tore through her roof and struck her in the head. Cynthia Joseph told investigators that she heard a bang on her rooftop, only to discover that she was bleeding from the head. Where the round came from and who fired the weapon are details that police are yet to uncover. Here is what Assistant Commissioner of Police Gilberto Romero shared with reporters this afternoon.
On Sunday, the 60th of August, 2023, police visited KHMH where they found Cynthia Joseph with a gunshot injury. She reported she was at home in Ladyville at Egbert Quilter Avenue when she heard a song on the roof of her house and then realized that she had received an injury to her head. She has been treated at the KHMH and has been discharged. Investigation into this matter continues.
But you don't know who fired the shots?
No, we do not know who fired the shots.
On Friday, we reported on the shooting of a fisherman in the Antelope Street Extension area the night before. The attack on 49-year-old Delbert Hines left him with a bullet wound to his abdomen. We had reported that Hines, a fisherman of Iguana Street Extension, had just left a relative's yard at the corner of Iguana Street Extension and an unnamed street sometime before 8 that night, heading towards Antelope Street Extension when he was shot. Today, the Belize Police Department's Regional Commander of Eastern Division, ACP Gilberto Romero, shared with reporters what police found when they arrived in the area that night.
Upon the arrival, they found Delbert Hines with a gunshot injury to the body. He was taken to the KHMH where he was treated and is now in a stable condition. He reported that he was walking on the street when he heard several gunshots and realized he had been shot. He has provided limited information and we have no suspects in regards to this shooting.
But it's fair to say that he wasn't the intended target.
Well, he was by himself, so we believe, yes, he was the intended target.
Coming up 18 years later, Bottom Dollar goes out of business. We'll have more details when we come back.
Get ready for the hottest summer ever with Digi's sizzling summer raffle. This summer, Digi is giving away a whopping $35,000 in prizes. Get a chance to win DigiCash and amazing prizes every day. And that's not all. There's not 1, but 2 grand prizes. Prepaid customers, for every $5 in primary usage, you get an entry into our daily raffle. Plus, get entries for weekly giveaways and the grand prizes by purchasing promotional devices, signing up for Digi One Bundle, Digi TV, and more. so don't miss out on a chance to win big. Join Digi's Sizzling Summer Raffle. Visit www.livedigi.com/sizzling summer for more information on how to participate. Digi, our national telecom.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of Sherwin-Williams Paint. Sherwin-Williams Paint is one of the most reputable paints in the industry, known for its superior quality, durability, and environmentally friendly technology. We carry a large variety of products for all your home and commercial needs, such as interior and exterior paints, primers, wood stains, sealers, clear top coats, caulking, aerosols, concrete, and masonry products. Achieve professional looking results with ease using Sherwin-Williams paint and coating. Available at Design Depot, all in one place.
Prime Minister John Briseno is hell-bent on passing his rehashed definitive agreement before the Senate begins its inquiry.
I hope that it should be ready for the cabinet to discuss, and if the cabinet approves it, then it will go to the House for it to be passed on into law.
John Briseno wants to beat the Senate inquiry, yet he doesn't want the Senate to question him. He thinks he's above the law.
There's no reason for him to be called. Actually, remember, we need to remind everybody that cabinet discussions are confidential, and that not even a Senate inquiry can ask for ministers or to go and discuss what is discussed in cabinet, because then once you do that, then that means that ministers are going to be very careful as to how they speak in the cabinet. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be called like that, and there's no reason to call me.
Wrong, Mr. Prime Minister. Section 61A 2H of the Belize Constitution says that the Senate can summon any minister, including you, Mr. Prime Minister. Why does John Briseno want to ram through his repulsive, rehashed definitive agreement without being accountable to the Senate?
In April 2015, the government of Belize gave an undertaking embodied in a consent order of the Caribbean Court of Justice to recognize Maya customary land tenure over Maya lands in the villages in the Toledo district, which constitute property that is protected by Section 3D and 17 of the Constitution of Belize. Therefore, the government accepts the consent court order of 2015 and the existence of Maya customary land tenure, and has since been in the process of implementing that order. But that does not mean that any part of this country will be separated. The government retains authority over all land in Belize and is currently in the process of first defining the scope of Maya customary land tenure. The Ministry of Human Development, Families, and Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the ministry tasked to facilitate the implementation of the consent order of 2015, is committed to protecting the rights and interests of all parties affected: Maya villages, non-Maya villages, and private landowners. Implementing the CCJ Consent Order of 2015 is a complex process. We are working tirelessly to move the implementation forward. However, during this time, we ask all affected parties to be reasonable and respectful of each other's rights and privileges. As Belizeans, we must recognize that our right to property is protected by our Constitution, regardless of who we are or where we live. This is our Belize.
KTV The Remix Season 5, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Pony Drive and 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. $3 for children and $5 for adults. Or catch it live on Channel 5, Facebook, and YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Don't miss KTV The Remix Season 5. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
John Briceño returned to the country today after 20 days abroad. He's going into a House meeting next Friday where reports tell us government plans to introduce legislation to replace the definitive agreement, which he famously tore up at the last House meeting on June 16. Now, what will this new legislation look like?
We know what it will look like. The new Portico Pension Plan Bill will have all the same scandalous tax benefits that were in the definitive agreement. It will pretend to be available to all developers who invest over a certain amount. But in reality, it will be a special law for Portico. The Prime Minister says
it's going to be done transparently. We've been discussing with all the stakeholders.
But that is a barefaced lie. Only Portico and Royal Caribbean have been consulted. Neither FECTAB, Stake Bank, nor Waterloo have been consulted. The Prime Minister and Chris Cowie detect all a we fi kunumunu with this Portico Pension Plan Bill. Will Cabinet say no to the pension plan for the boys? Will House members stand for Portico, or will they stand for the people?
Another iconic business in downtown Belize City will be closing its doors permanently in a few short weeks. It was announced earlier today that Bottom Dollar Supermarket is going out of business on August 31st after 18 years of service to the Belizean public. The company, a subsidiary of Santiago Castillo Limited, attributes its pending closure to unfair competition. This, according to the release, was, quote, compounded with proposed changes in market conditions, which will exacerbate the current situation, end quote. As a result, the owners have taken a decision to shutter Bottom Dollar and focus their attention on other concerns. Employees of that establishment will transition into other areas of the group of companies. Bottom Dollar is the second store in the commercial heart of the old capital to become defunct in less than 2 months. In July, Augusto Kwan also closed its doors for good after 83 years in business. While Bottom Dollar is counting down to August 31st to shutter its business, Prime Minister John Briceño has weighed in once again on the unrelenting issue of price gouging in the retail market. His response follows a recent letter by the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, during which several concerns were raised by the private sector, including the issue of price control. According to the organization, it was never consulted on government's policy to expand the price control list and impose a 15% and 20% maximum markup. Here's how PM Briceño responded.
I think when you look at the statistics that the Statistical Institute of Belize issued, it was I think last week, it pointed out that inflation has gone down to about, is it 3%? I think it's 3%, but yet overall. But when you look at food, food items, the inflation in food items or prices have gone up. I'm trying to remember the right number, but it's like over like 12%. Obviously something is wrong, that there are unscrupulous business people that are taking advantage of people, especially poor people, and I make no apology for something like that, that we have to go after them. Whilst we have not met with the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry officially, we have met with the importers, we have met with some of the biggest retailers and telling them, guys, this is getting out of hand. We have to, if you do not do something about it, we will have to act. We have a responsibility to protect the interests of our people. And if we believe that you are price gouging, then we are going to act. And if you were to ask anybody around this country, everybody will tell you they believe that these stores are price gouging, that they are raising the price. I mean, one day did something and think cost $1.25, following day cost $2. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry argues that the business community has been experiencing significant increases in the cost of doing business and has been contending with increases in the cost of transportation, labor, licenses, and other rigid processes. The BCCI says it is ready to actively sit with the Briceño administration to conduct the necessary research and consultation.
The BCCI know if they were interested also, and we will meet with them. I have sent Mrs. Garcia, my CEO, has written a letter to them. But they also should have been proactive. They should have also been cautioning out to their members and telling them if you don't do something, government is going to act. We will meet with them. We were trying to find how best we could address this issue. But this issue of price gouging must come to an end.
58-year-old Dorrington Williams Jr., a resident of St. Matthew's Village, has been charged with 15 counts of obtaining property by deception after being accused of swindling over $30,000 from 3 individuals. Williams, a surveyor by profession, appeared unrepresented this morning in the lower court, where he was read the list of charges. It is alleged that between February and August of this year, Williams defrauded 3 Belizean residents on separate occasions, including $29,100 that was allegedly stolen from Ronaldo Orellano. There was no objection to bail being offered to Williams. However, the conditions of his bail also meant that he had to surrender his travel documents. With that, bail was granted in the sum of $4,000 plus two sureties of $2,000. Williams returns to court on October 4th, 2023. And this news coming from South Korea today. Belizeans who are part of the Santa Elena Jaguar Scouts attending the World Scouts Jamboree have been evacuated from the campsite amidst a looming typhoon. The 17 Belizeans are among tens of thousands of youth who have been moved out of the path of the typhoon, only days after high temperatures left hundreds ill. The storm has put pressure on the event's organizers, who have received complaints from parents and who have seen the withdrawal of two contingents. The Belize team comprises 14 scouts and 3 adult leaders. Some of the participants, including the Belizeans, will be taken by bus on Tuesday to areas out of the path of Typhoon Kanan, which is expected to hit South Korea on Thursday. Meanwhile, officials of North Jeolla Province, which is hosting the event, have made efforts to improve sanitary conditions, including toilets. They have also dispatched water trucks and air conditioners to keep the participants cool. After the break, e-buses to improve public transport service. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Minister John Briceño returned to the country today after 20 days abroad. He's going into a House meeting next Friday where reports tell us government plans to introduce legislation to replace the definitive agreement, which he famously tore up at the last House meeting on June 16. Now, what will this new legislation look like?
We know what it will look like. The new Portico Pension Plan Bill will have all the same scandalous tax benefits that were in the definitive agreement. It will pretend to be available to all developers who invest over a certain amount. But in reality, it will be a special law for Portico. The Prime Minister says
it's going to be done transparently. We've been discussing with all the stakeholders.
But that is a barefaced lie. Only Portico and Royal Caribbean have been consulted. Neither FECTAB, State Bank, nor Waterloo have been consulted. The Prime Minister and Chris Cowie detect all a we fi kunumunu with this Portico Pension Plan Bill. Will Cabinet say no to the pension plan for the boys? Will House members stand for Portico, or will they stand for the people?
Hey, here you go. You should be proud there, and don't worry about those who don't know better. You're doing a wonderful job making sure the baby gets the food he needs.
Don't be ashamed to feed your baby with the best food. Breast milk has all the nutrients that a baby needs to grow. This is a message from UNICEF and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
From generation to generation, Bristol Water is there every step of the way. Taste you can trust.
The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, proudly celebrates its 120th anniversary of service and achievement in the Americas. PAHO began operating in Belize in the early 1950s. PAHO committed to providing technical cooperation to strengthen the capacity of Belize's health sector and improve the health of the people of Belize. The Malaria Eradication Program, which began in 1974, is one of the great success stories of PAHO's collaboration with the government of Belize. Since December 2018, Belize has reported 0 cases of malaria, placing the country well on track toward malaria elimination. For other vector-borne diseases like dengue, chikungunya, and Zika, PAHO led public health responses in Belize, which included surveillance, prevention and control, and the mobilization of resources. The emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 presented the greatest global public health challenge in recent history. In Belize, PAHO supported the Ministry of Health and Wellness by training lab personnel to diagnose SARS-CoV-2, evaluating isolation and long-term facilities, providing technical guidance for decentralized testing, and supporting procurement of COVID-19 test kits, medical and laboratory equipment and supplies, PPE, and IT communication equipment and materials. PAHO facilitated the acquisition of COVID-19 vaccines through COVAX and supported the COVID-19 vaccination rollout, contributing to 64.62% of the target population being fully vaccinated by December 30th, 2021. PAHO has built national capacity through specialized training to address non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, cancer and diabetes, which have been leading causes of death in Belize. With PAHO's support, all public hospitals have been certified as baby-friendly hospitals, as have 3 public polyclinics. The Smart Hospitals Initiatives was launched in Belize in 2016 and to date has retrofitted 5 health facilities countrywide. In collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO is providing safer, greener, climate-resistant health facilities to deliver care in disasters, generate operational savings, and reduce disaster losses. The launch of the National One Health platform in October 2022 will foster a coordinated, multi-sectorial collaboration to address the full spectrum of disease control, from prevention to detection, preparedness, response, and management. PAHO Belize will continue its decades-long commitment to the government and people of Belize in achieving the highest standard of health and well-being for all persons through universal access to healthcare, universal health coverage, resilient health systems, and quality health services throughout the life course.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the shark code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win. Local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Prime Minister John Briceño is hell-bent on passing his rehashed definitive agreement before the Senate begins its inquiry.
I hope that it should be ready for the cabinet to discuss, and if the cabinet approves it, then it will go to the House for it to be passed on into law.
John Briceño wants to beat the Senate inquiry, Yet, he doesn't want the Senate to question him. He thinks he's above the law.
There's no reason for him to be called. Actually, remember, we need to remind everybody that cabinet discussions are confidential, and that not even a Senate inquiry can ask for ministers or to go and discuss what was what is discussed in cabinet, because then once you do that, then that means that ministers are going to be very careful as to how they speak in the cabinet. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be called like that, and there's no reason to call me.
Wrong, Mr. Prime Minister. Section 61A 2H of the Belize Constitution says that the Senate can summon any minister, including you, Mr. Prime Minister. Why does John Brisenia want to ram through his repulsive, rehashed definitive agreement without being accountable to the Senate?
Do you know how to choose the best engine oil for your car? We believe the best engine oil should provide optimal performance and ultimate protection for longer. For Quartz engine oil, our engineers have formulated age resistance technology, also known as ART. It's a breakthrough innovation. The interaction between oil molecules is increased, creating a super resistant molecular structure. So whatever the conditions, it helps to prevent the lubricant protective film from breaking. Any engine is exposed to harsh conditions: extreme temperature and pressure, friction, sludge accumulation. The molecular structure of Quartz with ART stays strong to perfectly lubricate and protect engine parts in all conditions. And the results are outstanding. Protection against sludge buildup improved by 18%. Protection against mechanical wear improved by 74%. Thanks to Quartz with ART, save on maintenance and preserve your engine's power. So next time you wonder which engine oil to use, choose performance and protection that lasts longer. Quartz with age resistance technology. Keep your engine younger for longer.
It's a service and an affordable convenience that Belizeans and visitors alike have appreciated and made use of when they've wanted to tour or travel by road. But COVID came and put a halt to the trans-border bus runs provided by Mobility ADO Bus Company. Now the Belize to Cancun, Cancun to Belize runs have resumed after that long halt. The runs began on July 24th and the schedule remains the same. Daily, leaving from Belize City and 7 p.m., arriving in Cancun around 6 the following morning. And from Cancun, they leave at 7 a.m., arriving in Belize in the evening. Last Friday, an inaugural ceremony was held in Chetumal for the resumption of the bus runs, which are expected to boost the tourism numbers for Belize. Chief Tourism Officer at the Ministry of Tourism, Abil Castaneda, told News 5 today that if we are to go by pre-COVID numbers, the traffic at our northern and western borders accounted for around 20% of tourism arrivals to Belize before COVID. So the resumption of this one route should start to take back up the numbers of tourists who depend on this type of transportation.
That's a fundamental route for us, not only for Belizeans that use that road to get to the U.S. flying out of Cancun, but also for many of our tourists that visit not only Mexico but Belize and Guatemala as a multi-destination trip. So that's a huge addition to our ability to continue to perform the way we're performing. And I do know that the ADO team and the Ministry of Transport are also looking on how to expand the services into Merida once again as well. So that's something that would come, I think, would be very important for the Belizean traveler, but again, for our tourists that are visiting the region. Then come to Belize for a few days, then make their way to either Honduras or Guatemala, or the next way around. So it is a very important element of our tourism arrival framework.
The Minister of Transport, Rodwell Ferguson, was in attendance at the inaugural ceremony in Chetumal, along with Acting Chief Transport Officer Peter Williams. Ferguson told News 5 that the resumption of the bus route followed lengthy discussions, and the ministry has conducted a proper case study since the runs have resumed to ensure that the runs do not interfere with the runs Belizean bus operators conduct along portions of the same route. In fact, he said that the ADO can only take passengers wanting to reach Chetumal at that hour of the night because no Belizean-operated bus travels to Chetumal at that hour.
There is no complaint from the local operator because we put that on a strict restriction to make sure that it is abided by and followed by. The arrangement is that it must be from Belize to across the border. So that apparently that has been kept and it has been followed. We make sure we enforce it and say that we must abide by these restrictions. You cannot pick up passengers in Belize, they are going to Corozal. Now, if I'm in Belize City and I want to go to Cancun or to Chetumal, I can catch a bus from Belize City to Chetumal or to Cancun.
Today, the Belize City Council announced that, staying true to its commitment towards low-carbon transportation, the council will be acquiring 2 electric buses. The proposed e-mobility pilot project is being done in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics and E-Government, and the Ministry of Transport, with support from the European Union. The buses are valued at $300,000 each and are being sourced from China through the Build Your Dreams company. The buses are expected to arrive in November, and E-Transit startup coordinator Neil Hall breaks down the pilot project.
We'll be looking at the integration of electric buses into Belize municipal public transit system, and we'll be looking at ways that this will improve the transit system here in Belize, ranging from everything from the fact that we're starting to get newer buses into the fleets that are being used to being less pollutant, less noise, less greenhouse gases, less carbon pollution in the air.
Once launched, the council will evaluate the performance to ensure operational efficiency. The goal is that this e-mobility public transport fleet will be increased to a public-private partnership at the end of the project. Coordinator Neil Hall speaks of the need for drivers and technical staff for the introduction of these e-buses.
We are looking for drivers. If you or someone you know would like to or can drive a bus, please come and speak to us here at the Belize City Council. We might have a space for you. We are looking for male and female drivers because we want to show that this is all-inclusive. So upon the arrival of the buses, there's going to be a few training programs that will happen. Some will be more along the technical line on how to take care of these buses, and others will be in the driving of the buses as well. It's a low-floor bus. With that, there is an amenity where there is a ramp that is easy to open and allow for wheelchair access into the buses. I believe either from front and back or just from the back door. We'll also have air conditioning on the bus. We'll have some USB ports on the bus to allow for charging of your mobile device while you're on there. We are already in the programming stage of having an app that will be used to see where the bus is so that you can plan when you are getting out of your house to go to the nearest bus stop to get on your bus. As we are looking for new drivers, we're also looking at people who are friendly and customer service, because we want the difference not only to be mechanical, but our personal as well.
Over the weekend on Saturday, the Belize City Council successfully concluded its downtown super sale. Over 150 different businesses set up booths in the downtown area and had their products for sale. Residents were able to take advantage of the great deals just in time for the new school year. Public Relations Manager at the Belize City Council, Erin Garnett, told News 5 about the back-to-school super sale.
Super Sale has seen consistent growth, but we've always noticed that the Back to School Super Sale in particular has been the most popular, and we're talking in terms of vendor participation and in consumer attendance. And so this one was definitely no different. And I think that is because the Back to School Super Sale is really one based on necessity. We have themes for all our Super Sales, which is great and well attended, but for Back to School, parents come with a list. They have particular things that they need, and we try to ensure that we have participation from vendors who can provide those things. And so this weekend, I think those parents were really waiting, they were planning, and they were out from 8 a.m. I mean, Angelus was packed, A&R was packed. You really had to wait to get under those booths. The Super Sale started off with about only 20 businesses, so this is a huge step for us. I mean, this is about our 15th Super Sale, and that's because we missed 2020 and 2021. And so it's really something that it's just growth, and we can't wait to see it grow even more. This really originated in 2018 when most weekends, all of our locals were across the border, enhancing other economies. And so we really want to bring something to, you know, instill in Belize City and to revive downtown, to really bring some energy, really bring people. And there were families out there this Saturday at the Super Sale.
Up next, Belize secures historic bronze in 2023 Codica Dare Games.
Is something wrong? Oh, you can go and use the bathroom. Take all the time you need.
Harmful bacteria can be found on all surfaces in public restrooms, making it unsafe for breastfeeding.
I don't want to use the bathroom again. It's not sanitary.
Okay, let me step out and you can have the room.
A shared responsibility means having a supportive environment within the workplace where the woman can pump her breast or even feed the child during her free time. This is a message from UNICEF and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
At The Life Company, we understand that life can be demanding and fast-paced, so we've made it easier for you to contact us. Wherever you may be, and at your own convenience, you can now access our services through our social media platforms. RFNG Life is pleased to introduce our new LifeBot service. Request a quotation, make premium payments, speak to a customer service representative, and more from right where you are in the palm of your hands. Visit our website or Facebook page or WhatsApp us at 671-5143 to try out our new LifeBot service today. RFNG Life Insurance, The Life Company.
Honda Navi, a partner you can rely on. Benquip, equipment, parts, service.
Prime Minister John Briceño returned to the country today after 20 days abroad. He's going into a House meeting next Friday where reports tell us government plans to introduce legislation to replace the definitive agreement, which he famously tore up at the last House meeting on June 16. Now, what will this new legislation look like?
We know what it will look like. The new Portico Pension Plan Bill will have all the same scandalous tax benefits that were in the definitive agreement. It will pretend to be available to all developers who invest over a certain amount. but in reality, it will be a special law for Portico. The Prime Minister says
it's going to be done transparently. We've been discussing with all the stakeholders.
But that is a barefaced lie. Only Portico and Royal Caribbean have been consulted. Neither FECTAB, State Bank, nor Waterloo have been consulted. The Prime Minister and Chris Cowie detect all a we fi kunumunu with this Portico pension plan bill. Will Cabinet say no to the pension plan for the boys? Will House members stand for Portico, or will they stand for the people?
The Office of the Prime Minister invites you to join us at the second annual Belize Investment Summit from August 30th to September 1st, 2023 at the Grand Caribe Resort on Ambergers Key. Belize, the land of endless potential. With a vibrant people and economy and a wealth of natural resources, is the region's premier investment hub, offering a range of opportunities across sectors including the blue, green, and orange economies. The Belize Investment Summit 2023 is your chance to explore these opportunities and connect with potential partners, investors, financiers, and stakeholders from across the globe. This 3-day summit will offer networking opportunities, site visits, one-on-one meetings, roundtable discussions, business pitches, an expo, and keynote presentations from government officials and industry leaders. Gain insight into Belize's investment climate and the incentives that make our country the destination for investment. Register now for the Belize Investment Summit 2023 and discover a world of opportunities. Be a believer. Invest in Belize. Thrive in Belize.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Prime Minister John Briceño is hell-bent on passing his rehashed definitive agreement before the Senate begins its inquiry.
I hope that it should be ready for the cabinet to discuss, and if the cabinet approves it, then it will go to the House for it to be passed on into law.
John Briceño wants to beat the Senate inquiry, yet he doesn't want the Senate to question him. He thinks he's above the law.
There's no reason for him to be called. Actually, remember, we need to remind everybody that cabinet discussions are confidential, and that not even a Senate inquiry can ask for ministers or to go and discuss what is discussed in cabinet, because then once you do that, then that means that ministers are going to be very careful as to how they speak in the cabinet. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be called like that, and there's no reason to call me.
Wrong, Mr. Prime Minister. Section 61A 2H of the Belize Constitution says that the Senate can summon any minister, including you, Mr. Prime Minister. Why does John Briceño want to ram through his repulsive, rehashed definitive agreement without being accountable to the Senate?
Good night and welcome to another edition of Sports Monday. I am Paul Lopez. Winning takes talent. To repeat takes character. That is a quote from former American basketball coach John Wooden. And character is what the William Dawson 2023 Sprite Digi Youth Basketball Tournament is developing in its participants. The tournament continued on Saturday in Barrelboom Village. All 24 teams remain in the competition, including those from Belize City, in spite of the fact that several communities in the Old Capital are under a state of emergency. We begin our coverage of Saturday's games with the matchup between Mahogany Heights and Fort George. We are in the first quarter of this one. The ball is thrown into Mahogany Heights' Isaiah Martinez. He goes in and dishes it out. Martinez moves to the three-point line. He shoots and banks that shot. Here, number 3 for Fort George breaks away with the ball. He's outnumbered by the defense and for some strange reason throws the ball into the backcourt. That is a turnover. Moments later, Mahogany Heights' Jerson Greenwich gets the ball on the three-point line. He drives in with the ball, swings his hands to the left of the rim and banks the basket. On the other end of the court, Kiefer McKenzie receives the ball inside the paint and goes in strong to bank the layup. McKenzie with the ball once again. He uses the pick. McKenzie moves into the paint. He receives the ball and passes it to his teammate under the rim, who banks the layups and draws the foul. Martinez moves the ball down the court and throws up the alley hoop for Kendall Clear, who makes it count with a beautiful touch. The first half of the match ended with a score of 8 baskets to 17 in favor of Fort George. Now in the second half, Jerson Greenwich passes the ball on the baseline. His teammate misses the three-point shot, but Martinez is right there to get the rebound and clean up for the basket. On the other end of the court, number 9 for Fort George dishes the ball in the paint to number 3, who puts up a jump fadeaway shot and makes that beautiful one count. On this play, number 11 goes in strong for the layup. He draws the foul on his way up and he banks the shot. Off the missed shot, the ball is tossed across the court to McKenzie on the other end, who makes light work of that layup. With 31 baskets each and only seconds left in the fourth quarter, a player for Fort George is at the three-point line hoping to seal this one. His first free throw bounces off the rim. His second free throw falls short of the rim. Mahogany Heights now has a 5-second opportunity to win this one. The ball is thrown into Martinez. He sprints down the court and misses the layup. Number 11 puts it back up on the rim, and it's no good. Fort George would go on to win the game in overtime after 2 of Mahogany Heights' 6 players that showed up for that day fouled out of the game. That one ended 40 baskets to 34. And we quickly take you through a second game played on Saturday. This one is between 501 Falcons and Unruly Boys. The starting whistle is blown and Unruly Boys win the tip. They waste no time in scoring the first 2 points of the match. On the other end of the court, Jordan Young goes in strong and finds Justin Bailey under the rim. He makes the basket and draws the foul. Number 5, Hubert Baptist with the hustle under the rim and puts it back to secure 2 points for Unruly Boys. Baptist with the ball on the rim. The pass goes over to Raheem Thornton, who makes the spin around jump fade look easy. Jordan Young takes the ball down the court. He seems to draw a foul, but there is no whistle. He goes up and scores the basket. In the second quarter of the match, the ball is passed to Thornton. He muscles his way inside against a big Raymond Gongora and makes the layup count. Wayne Leslie to Young, back to Leslie and back to Young, who goes over and under for 2 points. We are in the second half of this one with 501 Falcons trailing behind by 1 point. Young with the ball, he passes to Leslie, pass to Luani Cayetano, and that is money. Ball to Thornton, who once again uses his size advantage to go up and make the basket count. Thornton with the bounce pass to DeAndre Arana under the rim. Arana goes up and makes the basket. That was a beautiful find by Thornton. Here is Cayetano once again with the hot hands as he makes the 2-point shot just inside the arc. A bit of frustration sets in here for Unruly Boys at the end of the fourth quarter. A police officer intervened as teammates Baptist and Arana goes at it in a heated argument. But that flare-up evaporated quickly after the game concluded. In the end, 501 Falcon won the game 30 to 21 points in overtime. Following the matches, we spoke with Douglas Hyde, the chairman of the tournament, about the continuation of the games in the midst of an SOE in certain parts of Belize City.
All 24 teams are involved in this competition under this SOE still. What we've done is that the SOE has specific persons that they are targeting. All these players are not part of that. In fact, most of these players have literally reached a level of they want to do better in life. The intervention is very, very important, and we support it. The Commissioner of Police, the police department, as you can see, the police officers who are out here working are supportive of this initiative. And so we are, as you can see, the teams that are out here are here to play ball.
This weekend, the highly anticipated All-Star Showdown between Team Kareem and Team Chester will take place at the Yabber Green Basketball Court in Belize City. And now for some volleyball action. Sunday saw the start of the 2023 Men's Central American Volleyball Championship inside the Belize City Civic Center. In their first match of the tournament, Belize's senior men's national team took on El Salvador. That game came down to a decisive 5th set. In the end, El Salvador was able to gain the edge over Team Belize to win the match. Notwithstanding the loss, Belize dominated the game in both blocks and attacks. Belize scored 58 attacks to El Salvador's 57. Team Belize also scored 14 blocks to their opponent's 8th. But ultimately, it was El Salvador's Rodrigo Chavez that showed out. The top scorers for Team Belize were Kareem Coleman with 20 points. 17 of those were attack points. And Francis Hawes with 20 points. 16 of his points were from attacks. And finally for tonight, we say congratulations to the Belize's male under-15 basketball team for securing the bronze medal in the Codicadair Games 2023. Team Belize took on Nicaragua on Sunday in the bronze medal match inside the St. Catherine Auditorium. They won the match with 54 baskets to Nicaragua's 32 baskets. This will go down as yet another historic victory for Belize in basketball. And that's all we have for you in tonight's coverage of Sports Monday. Catch you in the next one.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.